Exciting video today. This is something I've been involved with for over a year now. These are the new 43mm stanchion Ultra Bee forks. They've got the new CNC crowns, and today we're going to be fitting them on this 2025 Ultra Bee. We're going to be comparing them against the Cirrus, the Pure, the Fast Ace and the stock forks. These forks feature fully CNC'd crown, and they also have rebound adjustment for both high speed and low speed. They look fantastic, but we're going to get them on this bike today, which is my brother's 2025 Ultra Bee, and then we're going to see exactly how they perform out on the trails.
Unboxing time. RFLOXA put a lot of effort into this box. Underneath you got a little slogan, you get 3 documents, you get like the full spec of the fork, you get a test sheet from a dyno printout, which is this middle one, and then on the right you basically get your adjustment range and what buttons and what clickers do what. Underneath this foam, obviously you've got your forks. The new direct mount clamp is absolutely beautiful. It's like a champagne finish, and then the crowns themselves are like an anodized grey blue. I really like them. They're really nice and hollowed out, but they're still very strong and beefy looking at the same time. You kind of have to see it to believe it. But yeah, the forks look absolutely amazing. We've got new SKF seals. I can't wait to get these on the bike. So yeah, let's get them fitted.
Oh yeah, and before I forget, if you want to buy these forks for your own bike, I'll leave 2 links in the description. One to where you can get them if you live in the UK, and one for the rest of the world. If you use code StingyRoger with 2 R's, both these websites, you do get a discount off, so it helps you save money at checkout. But yeah, let's get them on the bike and let's see how they perform. Oh yeah, and we're also going to be getting rid of your standard Ultra Bee bars and replacing them with these ODI flight bars. These are KTM OE bend, which give about 10mm rise and maintain a similar sweep. By the way, these are the softest spring rate, just because we ride more enduro, we don't really go on the track much, so hopefully they'll be nice and plush on the trails. Now all that's left is to put the 2 fork legs on. Can confirm they do fit those Cirrus crowns, which is lucky. They're my spares. They are so beefy. Beefy, ah! Torque coming out with traction control, so we've put the traction control sensor back on, and just like that, new bars, new forks. We've added a couple little spacers at the back of the mudguard to keep it propped up so it doesn't hit the wheel, give it some extra clearance, and test it out. Alright, so unlike most of the suspension systems in the past before Cirrus, we actually have some adjustment ranges here. So I'm going to take my time to adjust these forks to exactly how they're supposed to be, because at the moment there's quite a lot of stiction on them. I think they need to bed in. Cirrus needed to bed in for 4 hours or 5 hours before you could adjust them even, but I'm going to adjust these now and see how they are. We now have this forks fitted. They absolutely look amazing. The colour scheme matches Sam's bike really, really well. They actually look really premium. A lot more premium than the price reflects. However, I have adjusted them using this manual into the middle settings for my brother. Initial feedback, I've just taken them off a few curbs around the block. There is a lot of stiction in them. Right, I can't see anything here about bedding in or break-in period, but I'm pretty positive that these are going to need a considerable amount of breaking in. So when I say that, I don't know if anyone here watching this may have experience with high-end forks or Cirrus even, but with the Cirrus you need to use them for 4 hours before they braid in and your stiction goes. These, I'm experiencing a lot of stiction. They're not feeling quite buttery smooth yet, so we're going to head out tomorrow. We're losing a bit of daylight now, but I'm going to head out tomorrow. I'm going to really hammer these forks for a couple of hours and try and speed up the process, because I don't feel comfortable making a review on them until they've, you know, bedded in, because at the minute, yeah, I'm getting quite a lot of stiction. So yeah, I will put the bike away for now. I'm going to read over the other booklets in the box and see if it mentions anything about bedding in, and we'll take it from there. I don't think it's fair to make a review on these after initial installation. I think realistically you need to allow them to bed in. Oh, it's so foggy and buggy and muddy. Alright boys, so we're out on the trails. We've got the RFLOXA, we've got the lightweight spring rate, medium settings, we've kind of matched the shock to it. As you can see, it is really foggy, really wet, damp. So it's going to be a good test for these. I think we've kind of got rid of some of the stiction. I'm going to head down into this big bowl that we normally test the products on. Something to note is, currently have them set at the top mark, so 5mm. There's another mark which is at 10mm, and what that will do is 10mm puts more of the weight on the front, which gives you a plusher ride on there. Kind of like them being a bit longer and taller on the front, so I've kept it on the highest setting. But yeah, without further ado guys, bike looks sick. Really impressed with the way they actually look, but let's see how they perform. So I'm just going to give them a light. Look at all the deer. Look at all them Bambis. Sorry. Thank you. Got a hill climb, which really does put the forks to the test because it's a steep incline with hidden roots underneath. So you hit those roots and you're being bounced. So the measurement of how much traction you get is always done on that hill climb. We're going to warm up. I'm going to hit a few of these jumps, let the forks, fill the forks out, and then this jump, you go airborne slightly, you give it a bit of gas, and you come up the top of the hill climb. But that's the easy part. This section here, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's sort of a lot of roots underneath it. There's one here, and they're about 6 to 8 inches off the ground, and there's multiple one after the other. So you really do have to fight the bike to keep traction. I'm gonna come out, I click on rebound here. All right, let's try the hill climb straight in. No excuses. Yeah, that rebound adjustment definitely just helped. Hill climb. Oh yeah, made it fairly easy. I think I can already feel the Stiction's gone. I can't go too quickly, these leaves hide a lot of imperfections and fallen branches and leaves and rocks, etc. But I'll do my best. Oh. I think I can already give a verdict on these pretty much just from that. It's been raining here every day since the start of 2026. We haven't had one dry day in the UK. Been absolutely carnage. So these trails are just fucked. Oh, it's so slick. Yeah, they match the shock actually. I was worried that you'd need the shock to make them feel balanced. Come. Can't see with my visor up. Down, sorry. These trails do look a bit smooth, but they're actually quite undulated. Alright, let's do a quick Stiction test, guys. Yeah, Stiction's gone, guys. Let's run that back. have spent a lot of time getting rid of the Stiction on this around my local neighbourhood last night. It was dark, couldn't really film it. However, the Stiction is completely gone now. So they do need, I only used about an hour and a half to get rid of the Stiction, but they do need at least 1.5 hours of riding before the Stiction goes. And I think pretty much you should leave them as they are, don't adjust them until that goes, because you can't really make a very good opinion on them until this point's been reached. But what can I say? They match the stock shock pretty well. I don't have the RFLOXA shock. I'm not sure if I'm going to receive it or whether they plan on sending them to influencers, but this does match the shock really well. So if you're someone that just wants to upgrade the forks, you're not fussed about the shock, the forks are going to be a nice balanced option for you. I have tested the Fast Ace. Now the Fast Ace did feel like they had a bit more depth than these, although they had less travel, because I have fiddled with the settings. I have tried a few different setups. I've tried their base setup, their medium performance setup, and then I've tried their like MX track setup. I've settled with the middle one. I'm at the lower end of the middle one for the woods like this, because obviously it's not smooth, you're not sending big jumps, you kind of want that plushness. But you also don't want to be diving, you want to keep the bike nice and balanced. So where do they stack up in the lineup? Obviously we've got the 2024 forks. Those are pretty much the baseline. They're what I'm going to compare to. Every fork gets compared to those. The 2025 fork was a bit of an upgrade. It was just a bit stiffer with better bottom out control. I'd say if we're rating the 2024 forks a 5 out of 10, the 2025 forks were like a 5.5 out of 10. This is where we get into the aftermarket forks. The first set of aftermarket forks I tried were the Fast Ace. Now the Fast Ace were really good, but they were shorter in length, so that affected your geometry slightly. You did notice some harm in your performance. You were slightly further over the bars, and you did feel a lot of the weight was going to the fork, which made the shock feel harsh. So I rated the Fast Ace a 6 out of 10. Next we've got the Pure look amazing. They have the tire coated lower stanchions. They have 260mm travel, but they're skinny. They only have a 37mm stanchion, and I really did not get along with those. I actually rate those the same as the 2024 forks. They're way back there. They're pretty much, I'd prefer a set of 25 forks over the Pure. That's just my opinion. They look great, but they perform like shit. Next up, we've got the RFLOXA. So the RFLOXA, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10. They're better than the Fast Ace. They're better than the Pure. They're an upgrade if you have 2025 forks, and they're an upgrade if you have 2024 forks. They also pair well with the stock shock. The Pure did not. They upset the balance of the bike. The Fast Ace kind of paired pretty well with the shock as well, but these are the best if you have a standard shock. Last but not least, we've got the Cirrus. The Cirrus are a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's 16 different forks and 16 different shocks. Picking the right one and the right spring rate is really, really important with Cirrus. The faster you go, the better they get. I would not, if you want the best of the best of the best, and you want to spend that 3,000 on the Cirrus, you won't be disappointed. However, these do 75% of that for literally half the price of the Cirrus forks. So these are going to be a great upgrade if you don't want to break the bank, you want to keep your standard shock, and you want the bling. They look amazing. They're probably better looking than the Cirrus, I'm not going to lie. I actually prefer the look of them. The colour, the black lowers, they just look absolutely amazing. Now guys, I'm going to say this. These lack a bit of depth compared to the Cirrus. What do I mean by that? Well, with the Cirrus, as you go through the travel, you become more and more supported. These sort of blow through the travel, and you feel them coming a little bit firmer as you get through the travel. The Cirrus sort of blows through the travel more like a motocross or enduro bike. Obviously they're based on like an A-kit KYB setup, so they're a completely different fork internally. They have like very fancy technology. They just sort of put a bit more stress on the rider. You can feel it through your wrist, so as you blow through and you get towards the bottom, they become really stiff. To the point where it's like if you were doing big jumps, I'd probably go up a spring rate just so that you... Now the only reason why I'm not scoring these higher than a 7.5 is just because they lack a bit of depth compared to something like the Cirrus, which I spent a lot of time on. However, these are half the price, and for half the price I think they are absolutely amazing. I think they're a go-to at that price point. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. I don't think you can go wrong. I'm interested to see how the shock feels, because obviously the shock on this is the standard one, and if they've made a shock which is designed to work with the forks, maybe it enhances them further. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's necessary. It does kind of complement the standard shock and works very nicely with it. Also love the fact that they're black stanchions. I don't know, something about it just looks cleaner, and the red fork seals look kind of, you know, like race spec, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this setup. I think my brother's going to be over the moon with the new forks. Obviously he's the one that rides this bike when it comes out with us. And yeah, I think they're a great upgrade. Guys, if you do want to grab yourself a set of these forks, as I said at the start, I'll leave a link below to the RFLOXA worldwide website and the UK website. You can use code StingyRoger, which will be on the screen now, to save yourself money at checkout. Obviously I'm not going to go and put like 3 hours or 4 hours worth of trail footage in the video, because nobody really wants to watch that. But I have progressed this bike for a full charge cycle twice now to test out these forks. As always, my name's been Stingy. I make weekly emoto content. If you're new to the channel, make sure you consider subscribing, leave a like down below and a comment telling me what your favourite part on this bike was. And as always, I'll see you next week.